Hello, welcome to this video. This is going to just be a little word flow, I feel. So if you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, my intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. This is going to be just a word play. So we'll see kind of where this goes. And so many of us are connected into this intense dynamic between technology and human existence. And this is a dynamo, if you will. This is an exchange back and forth and a seemingly battle of divine proportions, or in some cases, not divine proportions. And yet here we are. We're in the midst of a huge turn of events, for we have reached a precipice of technology extravaganza. Many of us are excited at the potentials of this new technology births and brings and launches us into, and are following this line with an intense fervor. Yet there's also a huge amount of humans who are recognizing the depth of where this may take us. And when we say depth, we are alluding to the deep, dark depths of the psyche, one might say, the shadow network of the human imagination. And while we would venture to say both are equally necessary in some regards in the creation of reality, we are at a stage where the commonality or the desire for many people on earth now is for human enlightenment. And we could go into so many different places and spaces about human enlightenment, but let's just start with the heart. For many are skipping over a very important space, for they are seeking to launch themselves into space without their deeply intrinsic ties. And we refer to the strings. The strings they are tied to are not necessarily that which is part of the human depth of compassion and human depths of humanity. For within the imagination or the mind are many different places and spaces. And where is the mind kept? Where do we keep this vast imagination? Where are thought forms from? Where do they come from? Where are they created from? Where are they going? And yet we wish to paint a picture. If you visualize space as this plethora of entangled, beautiful, fiber optic, colorful lights, strings, we might call it. Within the strings of this giant spider web are sounds that when they are plucked, they ring up the spider web. They move a signal up the web, and all is singing off of one another. The sounds are deeply connected, and yet in some places and spaces in this space, only certain sounds can be felt or tuned into, tapped into, one might say. So we wish to play with this for a moment. What signals are we sending out, and what signals are we asking to tune into? For in this constant need to look outside of ourselves, this constant need to find the light, the source of enlightenment, we tend to lose the meaning behind the light that we are looking for. We tend to lose the meaning of life in which it is that we are seeking to explore. And we invite those who are feeling into the words that we are speaking, or better spoken, the sounds behind the words, or better spoken, the webs or the frequencies, the shapes or the fibers that are the source of this connection. For those that can feel that, there is a deeply interwoven, intrinsic signature that is love. And this is a human range, we might say, of emotion. For within this human range of emotion, I'm hearing energy emotion. We seek out an energy. We send out an energy. We speak out an energy. We send out a signal that is energized by the feeling of love. And so let us go back to the heart for a moment. For at the heart of all of this is the human. So let us not lose sight while we stare off into space, while we recite our goals and our determinations, while we quantify and pontificate that which it is that we are extrapolating, that we are pontificating, that we are pulling out of this deeply woven artificial intelligence that is actually resourced from the human intelligence. Let us not forget that which it was that we were before we birthed this technology. Let us not forget that which it is that we were birthed from. Let us not forget that which it is that we are. For we are human technology that is a biological compilation, composition, co-creation, creation in constant movement and expansiveness, driven by the heart, for it is the first, it is the number one source of our creation. Therefore, when we look into our hearts and feel the source of all interconnectivity with this web of life, and we create from that source, we send out, or zing up the string, if you will, and sound out a deeper, longer, deeply interconnected and interwoven spiral of mechanics that allows us to weave with the new reality, the true source of expansion. And so while we are realizing technology, while we are sourcing technology, while we are resourcing technology that is outside of us, we are invited to not lose track of the track in which we are on. For we are the source of this track. So while we utilize our beautiful gift of the imagination, we are recognizing that the images that we are creating, I'm hearing in our own image, in our own likeness, the images that we are creating as masterful creators, we are called again and again to listen to the call of the human. For as we create from a space of coherence, of heartfelt intelligence, we create more intelligently than we ever could by searching for something outside of us to tell us what it is that we need to create. When we feel into our own creativity, our own inner aspects, when we tune into this deeper resonance, it gives us a higher ratio. It gives us a higher ability to create a new form of technology. It allows us to access our innate form of technology that already exists within. So while we are having fun and while we are creating and seeking for all of the answers, we are continually invited to go back within and recognize that we already hold all of the answers. And part of this is our creation, or our playground, in which to make real that which that is already within. It is already really here for real. Why is it that we feel the need to create advanced technology when we haven't even begun to recognize the advancements our own advancements, our own advanced applications, that we have yet to truly access our own potential applications, that we have yet to truly recognize and play with. So while we play with this technology, let us invite ourselves to play with one another and to recognize the human capabilities for deep knowingness. This deep play that we are speaking of is the human interaction. For there is nothing better than love. There is nothing more expansive than the energy that is created from the heart. And while we could manufacture a heart, we can manufacture another version of humans. We are the true source of that manufacturing. We are creating something in the image of, in the imagination of, in the image of, at the ionic template of love. For we are the true center of technology. And this is a fun little play on words that we are expressing to lighten up about what it is that we are co-creating in the realm of technology. For if we are creating from a place of fear, or creating from a place of the need for power, or we are creating from a place of the need for control, this is what we will see as a result of our lack of using our humanity to create from that space. The human is a color-coded, frequency building wave form of sound, of light, of breath. And this is life. So when we create technology based on what we think we know about technology, we are not necessarily giving ourselves the true opportunity to learn more about ourselves, although some implications are implying that we will learn more about ourselves by creating this technology, for the technology reflects back to us answers that we already knew. Yet we haven't necessarily dove into before, meaning the dive hasn't been deep enough for us to retrieve those answers. So we are relying on something that we are creating to make it easier for us to retrieve those answers. And so many of us have yet to explore the deeper recesses of the brain that are necessary to connect to the heart. For in this heart-centered intelligence, there is a much deeper application that many of us have not applied yet. So there are those of us who are able to apply this and are able to then advance. And as we advance, as we make advancements, and we truly tune in to the frequency of humanity, and I'm seeing hue, man, color, light, waves, we are then able to access levels that are beyond the imagination. For how can we imagine something that we have yet to remember? For all that we are accessing in the imagination is memory. And where are memories held? Well, some of them are held within the DNA, the skin suit, the molecular complexity of the human body that can only be accessed when we reach a frequency of heart-centered intelligence. So many of those that are chasing the dream outside of themselves that have yet to connect here have not yet accessed their fullest abundance. They have not yet accessed the fullest abundance of the human potential. Once that is accessed, this need to search outside for something that is already within will no longer be felt. It will no longer be reflected back to us, for we will already be advanced enough to recognize that we are creating it all. And we will already be in a space of such high conductivity that we outpace that of the creations that we are in the process of thinking about creating. So we are being invited now to consistently and conceptually reorganize our frequency. We do this through love, human interaction, connection with the earth, stabilizing our frequency, knowing thyself, and all of the concepts that may seem boring to many who have heard it all before. Yet have we really listened? Have we really heard it all before? Have we really listened to what the message is truly telling us? Or have we been tuning into and listening to what we think the messages are relaying to us, or what we think the messages are spelling out? Many of us have not felt or read between the lines yet, for we have not taken the time to go within to remember that which has already been written on our DNA. And yet each individual fingerprint, blueprint holds a sound signature. Therefore, each memory locks in a different frequency, or we could even say a different memory. For every individual holds a different frequency or perspective around the memory that is held within the DNA. So even if all people, all humans had the same exact replica, the same exact DNA, all humans have the ability to experience that DNA memory in a different format, for we are each encapsulated within a different form, yet we are beyond form. So when we tune in to our deeper information, we then access that information that is beyond form, that is beyond the replica, the replications of humanity, that is even beyond the version of humanity that we exist within now, or this particular technology, or skin, bones, blood, beautiful technology. We are beyond that. So how do we access this? And what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? That is to be known and experienced between each individual experience. So it is difficult for one person to tell another individual what it is, for it is meant to be remembered individually. Yet at the same time, while we experience this, it is the memory, or the awakening into that memory, that enhances the experience, that then shifts the DNA, that then allows the expansion of the DNA. For as we expand and as we explore our own innate technology and ability, we also grow the DNA. Therefore, as we grow within, we change the DNA. We change the memory of the DNA. Therefore, we are able to remember as a one collective imprint. We begin to remember that which we are already beyond our human technology, but we remember it with our human technology intact from the heart, and it allows us to completely create a visual experience that becomes a new reality. Yet simultaneously, we activate the human DNA or genome to such a level that we move beyond this linear timeline. We quantum leap, one might say, for those of you who are looking for answers. This is where we go. We go within and we become our own creators of our enhanced DNA through our ability to recognize our own human potential. For when we recognize it, see it, experience it, and play with it, we grow. We grow as a collective, we grow as an individual, and we grow back to the oneness that we are all searching for. And this is done from this now moment, every moment, in this next moment, from that moment on. And so it is. So I just wanted to kind of end on that note. There'll be a lot more of these since this subject matter is coming up. It's interwoven in our reality for some of us. It's an important topic for us to address, to recognize. And I'm just seeing that there's so much about the human that we don't know. Yet we're trying to understand this other stuff, which is beautiful. But let's not lose track with the actual sensations, feelings, imagination, heartfelt interaction, human touch, touch with the earth, all of these things that technology at times pulls us away from. So, in love and light.